Welcome everyone to this exciting AutomationEdge training video. Brace yourself for transformative experience as we take you one step further in your AutomationEdge education. I have confidence that you already possess a good understanding of the task agent perform, the way their multi-threading capabilities enhance their effectiveness, how to perform various operations through server UI, how the catalog assists in submitting the request, how the request menu helps in accessing the output files on server, and ability to verify execution results on the server. Nonetheless, I believe there may still be few unanswered queries lingering in your mind. For instance, you might be wondering if it's possible to resubmit the same workflow for execution, what to do when the agent is not running, or if workflow request is in failure state. Additionally, you may be curious about various states an agent can be in and where the output files will be located upon executing the workflow on server. But do not worry, we'll address all of these questions. Let's dive a little deeper into agent and request menu to provide you with the comprehensive answer. So, coming to agents. We all know that an agent is a piece of software that works on behalf of the AutomationEdge engine and executes the workflow. Agents provide scalability to AutomationEdge as agents can be deployed on multiple machines and harness the processing power of several machines. As you know, agent has multi-threading capability. Multiple threads can be associated with one agent. When an agent assigned with an execution thread, will always check if sequential request is available for execution. If yes, then agent will first execute the sequential request and then work on the non-sequential request. For example, an agent has 4 execution threads. The agent makes a call to the server for workflow execution request. The server checks for the sequential execution request and if yes, it returns 1 sequential and 3 non-sequential requests. If no, then it returns all 4 non-sequential requests. Along with this, let's delve deeper into our understanding of agent and explore the different states they can be in. Firstly, we have 4 primary states that an agent can exist in. These states are running, stopped, unknown, and updating. In the running state, the agent is up, actively running, and prepared to execute the request. On the other hand, the stopped state occurs when the agent is turned off or shut down. The unknown state arises when the server is unable to establish the communication or reach the agent. Lastly, when there are changes in the workflow plugin or agent itself, the agent enters updating state as it undergoes necessary updates. So, these states provide valuable insight into the current condition and functionality of agent. Understanding the states will help in effectively managing and utilizing the agents. Now, what if agent is in updating state? When an agent enters the updating state, it means that certain actions are taking in place. This action includes upgrading the agent from older version to newer version, assigning or unassigning a workflow to or from the agent, updating the assigned workflow if any changes are made, modifying the plugin assignment or updating the plugin itself. During these activities, the agent temporarily enters the updating state to ensure a smooth and seamless transition. Now, what should you do when the agent is in updating state? It is essential to be patient and allow the agent to complete its updating process. Once all of these actions are successfully executed, the agent will transition back to the running state. At this point, it will be ready to perform its assigned task as usual. Next, what if agent is in unknown state? When an agent enters the unknown state, it indicates that the server is unable to establish communication with the agent. This could be due to the various reasons, such as an abrupt shutdown or a network failure. So what should you do if you encounter such scenario? The recommended action is stop the agent. To initiate the resolution process, use the stop icon available in the action column. This will halt the agent operation temporarily. Then start the agent. Once the agent has been stopped, you can proceed to start it again. This can be done either by using AE agent application or by executing startup command from the agent folder. Now, let us proceed ahead with the request menu. The request menu displays comprehensive list of all the submitted workflow execution requests, with the latest one appearing at the top. The user can only view the request to which they have access. In the request menu, the execution details are presented into the tabular format. The table includes various columns such as ID, workflow name, priority, status, failure reasons, agent name, source ID, submitted by, created, execution start time, completed, along with the 6 input attributes, 6 output attributes, and workflow version and workflow version tag. To check the execution result, it is essential to focus on the status column of the request table. The status provides crucial information about how the workflow has been executed. In this segment of video, we will explore different status of the request and discuss necessary actions to take when encountering each of the status. Workflow execution requests are categorized into different set of states such as new, execution started, complete, failure, diverted, terminated, expired, and awaiting input. New, it is the initial state of request. It signifies that request is yet to be picked up by an agent and remains in this state until it is assigned to agent. Execution started. When an agent picks up the request, its status changes to execution started, indicating that execution process has been commenced. Complete. Once the execution of the workflow is successfully finished, the status is marked as complete. Failure. If the workflow execution encounters an error or failure, the status is changed to failure. Diverted. The diverted status is assigned to a request that need to be redirected outside of AutomationEdge, typically due to the issues that fall beyond the purview of AutomationEdge's capability. Terminated. In this case, where there are long-running requests, an administrator may manually terminate them. Consequently, the status of such request changes to terminated. Expired. The expired status applies to a request that an agent fails to pick up for execution, causing the status to remain as new. These requests are subject to cleanup request after a certain number of hours as configured in the workflow or system settings by system administrator. And last one is awaiting input. If the workflow requires manual intervention due to the inclusion of manual intervention step, then the status of request changes to awaiting input. The workflow execution will continue after the user has performed the required action and the status changes to execution started. Therefore, gaining an understanding of all these various states offers valuable information into the progress and outcome of workflow execution request within the AutomationEdge. Now, what if the request state is new? Well, as mentioned earlier, when a request has not yet been picked by an agent, it remains in the new state. It is normal for a request to be in the new state for short duration. However, if you notice that the status has been in the new state for an extended period of time, it is essential to check the status of the agent responsible for executing the request. In such cases, it is crucial to verify whether the agent is running or not. And by checking the agent status, you can determine if it is functioning properly and able to pick up and execute the request. What should you do if you come across a request in the failure state? A request can fail for several reasons, including license expired, invalid request parameter or credential, workflow or agent stopped or restarted, failure to connect to an external system, internal workflow failure, or an authentication failure, or error while uploading or downloading file, or unknown reasons. To further understand the specific details of the failure, you can click on the plus sign next to the failure keyword. This will provide you with an elaborated description of the error, allowing you to pinpoint the exact issue. Let me take you to the AutomationEdge server and show the details. So here you can see this particular workflow execution request has been failed and status has been marked with the failure. By clicking on this plus sign, you can get the elaborated description of the error, and based on the details provided, you can take the necessary corrective measures. Additionally, there is a provision to restart the failed workflow, which can be utilized to attempt the execution again. Next, what if you encountered a request state as expired? As mentioned before, the expired state is assigned to a request that an agent fails to pick up for execution, resulting in the status remain as new. These requests are set to undergo a cleanup request process after a specific number of hours as configured by system administrator in the workflow or system settings. If you encounter an expired workflow request, the first step is to check the status of agent responsible for its execution. If the agent is currently stopped, you should start it before submitting the execution request again. It is important to note that once a workflow request has expired, it cannot be restarted. Let me show you an expired workflow request. So you can see here, this particular workflow request has been expired. So here neither the restart option or the plus icon is available. So this expired request cannot be restarted. In such cases, you need to submit the execution request once again through the catalog. Lastly, let's discuss what to do if you encounter a request in the complete status. The complete status indicates that execution of workflow has been successfully finished. Upon completion, you will have access to the output files and other relevant details. To view and download these files, you can click on the plus sign next to the request to expand the details. This will provide you with the necessary information, including option to download the output files generated during the execution. Let me show you one complete request. So here you can see this particular workflow execution request has a complete status. So you can click on this plus sign to get the additional details and the output files. So you can download the output files from here. So thus we wrap up our discussion on agents and request menu. I hope this video has provided you with a better understanding of how agent states help us in understanding the functioning of agent and how request menu aids in managing the workflow execution. Thank you for watching, and I encourage you to stay inspired, continue learning and continue automating. Remember, the power of automation is at your fingertips.